Okay, guys, so last week we went over differentiating between acceleration, speed, and velocity. This week we're actually calculating speed and velocity. We've calculated acceleration when we were doing force, so we won't be calculating that this time, only speed and velocity. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw in the speed triangle. So this is a math triangle just like the force triangle was. So it's split up the exact same way. You have speed here, distance, and time. Now, you know from the previous triangles that we've used that there has to be divide symbols between these two and multiplication between these. Now, on this one, we can't really put the units like we did on the force triangle just because there's so many different units of distance and time that actually they use. So we can't really put units on here. But just know this is going to be a unit that measures a distance, and this is going to be a unit that measures the time. And speed is going to be a combination of distance and time units. Okay, so basically we're going to start with question 1. So if you're watching this video, you're going to get some of the answers because this is actual question 1 from the worksheet. An airplane flies 3,086 kilometers north. So the north may or may not be important. We'll have to wait until we read the end of the question and see what they're asking for. So from Houston to New York in 4 hours. So this is the time. So we have the distance and we have the time. We know that because this is a unit of distance, kilometers, and this is a unit of time, hours. So this is D and this is T. Okay, what is the speed? So they want the speed of the airplane in kilometers per hour. Well, that's convenient because we have kilometers and we have hours. So that means that all we have to do is plug this in and we're going to get the right units. Okay, because they want kilometers, we have kilometers, they want hours, we have hours. So to get speed, we have to cover up speed on the speed triangle, and it tells us that we need to divide distance and then time. So our formula would actually be S equals distance over time. Okay, so what that also tells us is that when we put this into our calculator, we're going to always want to put the distance first. If we plug in our numbers that we have, so the numbers that we have is D is 3,086 kilometers, and then time, T, is 4 hours. Okay, so when we plug those numbers in, we have 3,086 divided by 4. So I'm going to use my calculator. So 3,086 goes into the calculator first because it's on top, and then divide by 4. So that gives us 771.5, and our units are going to be kilometers over hours. So whatever you do to the numbers, you also technically are doing to the units. So you can't really divide the unit kilometer by hours. So the way we represent that is we just put kilometers divided by hours, and that shows us what our units of this are. So since we were looking for speed, we're done. 771.5 kilometers per hour is how fast the airplane is flying from Houston to New York. Now, we're also going to do another example. We're going to do number 2. So again, Sorry, guys. So again, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to draw our triangle. So then we have speed here, then distance, then time. And we know that this is going to be dividing, and this is going to be multiplying. Now, let's read the question. A train travels at 845.2 kilometers south. Now, again, we don't know if that's important yet, in 4 hours. So, again, we have kilometers and we have hours, so we have the distance. So this is going to be distance, 845.2 kilometers. And I'm just going to write the abbreviation for kilometers. And then for time, we have the 4 hours. I'm going to just write the abbreviation for hours. Okay, now the question is, what is the velocity? So this time, direction is important. And what we also need to realize is that velocity is really just a speed and a direction. So you actually calculate speed and velocity the exact same way, because velocity is a speed. You just also tell what direction that speed is going in. So we still just cover up the S, and it tells us that we need to divide distance and time. So we're going to have speed is distance over time. And we have our numbers. So distance is 845.2. And the time is 4 hours. So we get our little calculator on our cell phone. And we say 845.2 divided by 4. So 211.3, and that's kilometers over hours, because those are the units that we had. And it didn't specify, so we're going to just leave them in that unit to kilometers per hour. And then now we need the direction. So it told us that we're going south. So the velocity is 211.3 kilometers per hour south. So with those two examples, guys, you should be able to do the first 16 questions on this worksheet with no problem. Basically, you're calculating them the exact same way. The only difference is that when it's asking for velocity, you're also going to put the direction. Now remember, for directions, it doesn't always just have to be north, south, and east and west. Yeah, it can be. But it can also be upward. And downward. Especially if it's talking about something going up away from the Earth's surface or down towards the Earth's surface. So it can be north, it can be south, east, west. It could also be northwest or southeast, or it could be upward or downward. So remember, if you have a velocity, it's asking for velocity, and it's going upward off of the Earth's surface, that is your direction, upwards. And if it's asking for velocity and it's going downward towards the Earth's surface, then that is your direction, downward. Okay, guys, you got this.